Have I joined the wrong screen?
Yeah. Hold on. Hello, everyone. Do. Yeah, I did. It's at the bottom. Hey, Scummer.
Have I joined the right stream? Okay, we know Noodle. We know. I'm not going to stay too long. Actually, I'm going to go out to the pub in like in a few minutes. But I thought I'd just pop over here and say hello. So
yeah, hello.
So
hello.
Hey, yeah.
Hey up, sorry about that. You get confused, Noodle, because you only gave me time to have one coffee this morning before we went live. So, yeah.
I think there's so many damn StreamYard links in all these groups as well. It's easily done, I think. So,
and it is a small toy.
Yes.
There is a small stuffed brontosaurus in my windowsill.
There are small stuffed animals everywhere in this room. I make no apologies.
Say we're neurodivergent without saying we're neurodivergent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can see, I tell you what, you can tell I just got off of streaming myself because I got into the habit because I was just about to go and highlight Major's comment and then just realised it's not my fucking stream anymore.
I think you need coffee, Scummer.
This is not.
Yeah, I'm gonna in a little while. I'm going to be going out and grabbing Guinness and getting smashed. Yeah. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you're having an Irish Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the way, Ring, I trust you watched it on playback, the nomination stream.
Oh yes.
Just as we're mentioning the Irish things, why we you understand why we didn't nominate a certain fucker even though he deserves it. Yeah. Mm. So I hope you understand why we decided not to in the end.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, if you did start nominating everyone who came for someone in the community, that would be a very long list every December.
I know, but it's
yeah.
Yeah. That person I know goes after people, so I didn't. It's best now that for whilst they're being quiet for the time being, to fucking leave them that way.
But this is. This is a Christmas stream. This is time for happy, and community.
Yeah.
So, and as I say this, I'm going to screw things up slightly. Hold on, looking for the right banner. Because last time we were on Media Musings, Bree gave us a question. And say what you will about the channel punching bag, but she did popularize a very convenient way to sort the personalities of various fictional characters.
Mm.
So Bree asked which way I would sort the four turtles. And so we're going to start with Michelangelo.
Your voice.
Okay.
My microphone's picking up.
Yep. So we're going to start with Michelangelo, and Michelangelo, the light of the part, the light of the group, the group heart. He's a happy go lucky party dude. I think he's a Hufflepuff, obviously.
Cowabunga.
Yeah. And Donatello is obviously the Ravenclaw because he's the smarty pants, the inventor, the high intelligence character.
Objection, but
the high book learning character.
Objection. When he uses his intelligence, he uses it for a reason, right?
Yeah.
His intelligence is very goals oriented. Therefore, I vote Slytherin.
Though that being said, I am kind of
go with Raphael with that personally, but
actually no. See,
or Leonardo.
I'm putting Leonardo in Slytherin.
Actually, I can see that now. Yeah, I can see that.
Because I am kind of doing because since the turtles are like are each archetypes of different, personality tropes.
Second.
One should go in each separate house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Leonardo's the Slytherin. And because really Raphael is the, in your face, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. I don't care what you think of me. I am loud and boisterous, and I'm just going to kick ass. He's a Gryffindor.
Yeah.
And which now I've also done the 4 main Robins, but we could also transition into what Noodle thinks I should do, and which is D&D build.
So,
sorry. By the way, I just got to show this. It's the reprint of all the original.
Nice.
Which I mean, the original ones when they were dark as fuck and were really taking the piss out of like Frank Miller's comics,
So we had 2 plans for this stream. Either we were gonna take suggestions from the chat of let's sort this character into their punching bag house, or it was gonna be Ring creates D&D character, like comes up with race, class, species for existing fictional characters as suggested by the chat or by whoever's on stream. Both very similar ideas. So we'll see what we think. I just do want to point out, John Ophead, great John Green reference in the chat. I am a little bit disappointed that we didn't have a COTY thing this year of killed most people and just TB. Just TB.
Yeah.
I mean, there would have been other nominations, but I promised I wouldn't get political, so let's not go there. Killed most people in shortest space of time. I mean, it's a vote for next year. But yeah, so if anyone's got any fictional characters you either want to see sorted or built as a D&D character, drop them in the chat. I'll keep an eye on the chat for Ring.
Yeah.
While we're waiting for people to think about it, Ring, this is the funniest thing I've heard in ages. Talk me through your build for Mads Mikkelsen, Hannibal Lecter, and also Severus Snape, because this was the funniest thing.
Okay, so now, obviously, you have to go human because human. Now, and for your human, we're going to go variant human because there's a feat that we want right at the beginning. And that feat is the shift feat because obviously. And now, I put Hannibal Lecter down as a mastermind rogue. Because once you get to their capstone, they get a feature called Soul of Deceit, where you can where you're unable to be forced to tell the truth magically, and nobody can read your mind unless you allow it. And even if they're reading your mind, you can lie to them in your mind. And brain. And
Hannibal Lecter, Soul of Deceit.
yeah. And now this is more Anthony Hopkins Hannibal Lecter. Their 6th level feature lets them perfectly replicate an accent or a dialect if they've heard it for a minute. And now here's a funnier thing that you can do if you want to play against type. Well, if you want to go a common way of playing against type, yeah. If you want to go a common way of playing against type is you go lizard folk, because a lot of people like to go against the lore and play a sophisticated, gentlemanly lizard folk. And lizard folk have this feature where if they take a short rest, they can turn the bodies of their victims into like weapons and simple objects.
Okay, now you've all heard that build for Hannibal Lecter. Bearing in mind that these two are my favorite characters. Now build Severus Snape for us, Ring.
Now, I'd say
Hello.
So, Mastermind Rogue, because for the 17th, level capstone,
Right.
where
Can I ask where because I haven't been listening in. What did we decide on? One direction if we were going in?
So Ring is currently telling us how they would build Hannibal Lecter and Severus Snape, because this was the funniest thing. So we've just seen a Hannibal Lecter build of give us the TLDR on it, Ring.
yeah. So, Mastermind Rogue, their 6th level feature is a little more Anthony Hopkins, to where they can replicate a dialect perfectly if they hear it for a minute. Their capstone is brain. Their capstone is you can't force them to tell the truth, and if you try to read their mind, they're immune to telepathy. But if they let you read their mind, they can lie to you while you're reading. They can give you false thoughts. And so also, so for Severus Snape, I'd actually say 17 levels of Now, if you're playing it just stalled, I'd say go straight rogue. Then for your other class, have a split between wizard and alchemist, artificer. But if you're going not just all, you're still going to want the 17 levels of Mastermind Rogue for the for occlumency, because that's the only way you can do it without having that's the only way you can really fuck with people trying to read your mind in D&D 5e. And then for the rest, do maybe a little bit of enchantment wizard or
Okay, so what we're saying is I have a type.
now
Come on, you basically built the same character and changed a couple of the feats.
yeah.
Okay, right. So we've had a few suggestions while you were going through that.
Yep.
Also to AL Trucker in the chat, thank you for your service, because honestly, keep countries running.
So for
and let's see. So we have a couple of suggestions, and I do like this idea, so we're running with this. Politicians as D&D monsters. Let's start
Okay.
with Trump and go from there.
Hulk.
Yeah, honestly, Chaos, I'm probably just going to end up siding with you when it comes to monster manual stuff, because I'm more on the player side, so I know that side better.
Fair. Yes, I am the forever DM.
Yeah. Now, how would you do Boris as a monster from the monster manual?
Well, not our Boris, like the one we detest.
No, I think Doorknob Head is asking about like Boris Johnson.
Okay.
I'm thinking maybe something like a bugbear boss, because well, the hair for one.
Oh, on that basis, I vote that Donald Trump is an owlbear.
But owlbears don't exist.
Yeah, I don't want your Doorknob Head. I don't want to think about his Johnson, because
Yeah, let's not think about Boris's Johnson. That's
so. But
I mean, I know
he's
it's
had it
I
in
know
too
it's-
many places already.
I was going to say I know it's fathered an awful lot of spawn, but yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like, there are a few character suggestions that I do like the look of. So I'm just gonna work my way down.
Yeah.
So Stick/Splinter. So for Stick, you're gonna go probably Way of the Open Hand Monk. Variant Human, take the Fighting Initiate fighting style for blind fighting.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously to me it depends on what iterations of both characters, in a sense, isn't it?
See, you could go 2 levels of Druid to get a combo.
Yeah.
I've just seen in the chat someone wants to build of Monk, the TV detective, which I think that's what they're saying. Jason Jacoby, if you're not saying that, please correct me, but that could be a good idea. But yeah, the problem with building politicians as D&D monsters is they've either got an intelligence of about 3 or an intelligence of about 27, and there's no in between.
Can you get a like a minus for intelligence in D&D? Is that possible?
So you'll get a negative modifier to your rolls if you go below a 10, but in terms of getting an actual negative figure, that would very much have to be homebrewed. The lowest it's supposed to go is like 3, and then you stop learning languages, and then you go 1, and that's like barely alive.
So basically, we're saying Lee Anderson's an impossibility then.
I don't think 30p buys an intelligence point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because it's got to be in the negative points somewhere for Lee Anderson.
Even if you go to a second-hand bookshop, you're going to need to spend more than 30p. So he's definitely not.
Okay, so this is going to be extremely controversial. But I have been reading some of the original Roger Howard Conan stories, and so first we're probably going to want to we're going to want to take our first level in cleric just to get the wisdom save proficiency. Domain doesn't matter, probably war, just for flavor. Then we're going to want to go 3 levels of rogue for thief to get second story work, which gives us a climb speed. And also lets us interact with objects as a bonus action with fast hands. We're going to want to go 2 levels of fighter for action surge, and we're actually gonna want a couple of levels of barbarian, because that's just useful for getting up in people's faces and beating the crud out of them with a weapon.
See, I'd actually suggest you go 4 levels in Rogue, because
Yeah.
then you get your ASI, and you
Oh,
can
yeah.
put that to get a feat, and I feel like there's a couple of feats that fit Conan quite well.
Oh yeah,
I've got to say, because I obviously I'm not really familiar with Conan outside of the Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yep.
movie, and he, at least for part of that movie, was a thief.
yeah. Now
So
here's my controversial bit. For race, you pick halfling.
Yeah, no, I agree. That works.
Yeah, because halflings have this feature called Brave, where they have advantage on saves against fear, and every Howard Conan story is literally Conan arrives in a scenario, something eldritch shows up, everyone else freaks out, and Conan's like, okay, time to start killing things.
Okay, so
See,
this is a great thing, but Scummer and I are lost.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm lost on D&D to begin with, really.
Me
But,
but that is fair. The only other comment I really had for Conan was that the other useful thing that a halfling gives you, since Conan has some level of plot armor, lucky.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too.
Okay. I'm going to jump to our other idea, and I'm going to open this up to conversation. Channel punching bag. Let's discuss sorting the channel punching bag. Because, of course, she believes she's a perfect little Gryffindor. But, discuss.
So she's not a Hufflepuff?
No, she's not, because they have loyalty and decency. And also,
I would be almost inclined to insult Filch and say that she might have to join him.
Yeah, but that would be an insult to Squibs.
Yep.
Honestly, I think she'd probably be full Death Eater Slytherin.
I feel like she's got more flavour of Ravenclaw Death Eater than Slytherin Death Eater.
She reminds me of... I feel like she's... You know how Quirrell was Ravenclaw almost Slytherin?
Yeah.
I feel like she's there.
Yeah, because it's this thing of she's convinced herself through some weird arguments that she doesn't see the fallacies of, that she's completely right, and then tries to justify that.
Yep.
She's clearly got no ambition, because if she did, she'd have kept her trap shut and just kept the money rolling in.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's after power, but she's not like.
No, you know who she is. She's what's his face from Chamber of Secrets.
What, Lucius Malfoy?
No. Credit thief got obliviated.
Lockhart.
Yeah. She's Lockhart.
Who was also a Ravenclaw.
Yes.
So are we edging towards?
All the ones we're comparing her to.
Although I will say there is
towards Ravenclaw here, then, are we?
Yeah, I do think there is also a general understanding within the fandom that Rita Skeeter went too far one day, got obliviated, and what she remembers is the Harry Potter books.
Yeah.
Which I can definitely go for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have
yeah.
I've definitely got my frustrations with putting J.K. Rowling in Ravenclaw as a Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
But I've got frustrations with people just blindly putting anyone who's not pleasant in Slytherin. But
naturally, yeah. This is one of those. Objectively, she is more Ravenclaw than Slytherin because she's not business minded.
I put her in how about we put her in Ravenclaw, but at the same time find the first opportunity to expel her from Hogwarts? Does that work for
Also,
everyone?
can I just point out a traitor who had the loyalty of all the good people and then ruined it out of cowardice? That's Peter Pettigrew right there.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. There is some like argument for each of them, I think, for her.
Mm.
In the
As with most
Hufflepuff
people.
said they would be very accepting, and we're going to need someone very accepting to accept her.
Yeah.
But see, Ring's a Hufflepuff, and I just
Yeah.
it's not so much whether
I haven't
the
even given it.
Hufflepuffs would accept her; it's whether we would like want that on our conscience that we would subject the Hufflepuffs to her.
You
I
are,
haven't
you are
even-
correct. Yeah.
I haven't even given any thought to what bloody house I would be in Hogwarts, honestly. So
Can we just
Gryffindor.
Can we just
Yeah.
I
stick
say
with
that with all
Myrtle
love for you,
and-
Scummer, but Gryffindor.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, honestly.
Yeah, no,
so.
I know
I
it's a
just
good
think-
thing. Like you would definitely be like the sports fan,
I
like
okay, I do know Harry Potter's
friendly
in Gryffindor.
style of
That's
Gryffindor.
about yeah. I do know Harry Potter's in Gryffindor, so
Yeah,
we do
but
kinda
he's a
have the
biological
full set of
Slytherin.
houses here, don't we?
I'd be the world's first Quidditch hooligan.
So definitely still cis, even if you did have a wand and robes.
I don't
Also,
know,
can I point
just,
out,
I
this
just have
woman,
like, dumb ideas for like Quidditch chants now.
can I point out this woman spent 7 books putting boys and girls in the exact same uniform, which is basically a glorified dress, and then has a problem with how people represent their gender in their clothing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but he's Harry's trans Gryffindor, so you know he's assigned Slytherin at sorting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Got Scummer.
Fuck.
See, do you know who I really, really hate to insult this character this way,
Yeah.
but I feel like there's a certain quality that is very analogous to J.K. Rowling.
Go on.
The Love Goods. I mean, any of them, but Luna specifically.
Go on.
In that there is this belief that they both have, and Luna's appears to be justified, whereas hers does not appear to be, that there is this invisible world that agrees with all of the things that they just think up.
Sorry, Doodle, you just broke me then.
But yeah, no. But the thing is, right? Luna is quite clearly okay. She's a little bit wacky, but she's eccentric. She's not delusional.
Yes,
So-
I'm saying that I think J.K. Rowling thinks she's like more like that than
Yeah.
like how people initially view Luna is how she actually is, sort
Oh,
of
yeah,
thing,
'cause-
as opposed to actual comparison.
The beauty about Luna is, right, that she genuinely did not give a flying fuck what anyone thought of her. And she just forged her own path, and she's a great character. But I think that's an insult to Luna and to Vanna Lynch. Although I do love how in the space of about 10 minutes, we've gone from you saying, I don't want to put J.K. Rowling in Ravenclaw because I'm a Ravenclaw, to comparing her to every Ravenclaw character. So I think I win this one.
I don't want to out of personal bias, but I acknowledge she is the real thing behind that statement.
Oh, also, this question from Doorknob had glorified dress for the robes. Yes, they do come with special glory holes. They have a pocket for your wand.
So,
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is a half, like a fucking Rudolph Minotaur.
well, so actually, I'd
But which
say,
end would be the deer?
Or a centaur, or it'd be like a centaur. It's one of, yeah.
well, yeah, the closest thing you'd get to playing Rudolph, as a playable character is like either go 20 levels of druid and always stay wild shaped as a reindeer, or
I won't do the whole song, but I just put the alternative lyrics that my musician friend of mine, Derek, sings every year on the guitar in the local pub. Was Rudolph with your nose so bright? Won't you guide my sleigh tonight? He said, "Fuck off, you big fat bastard. I ain't gonna pull your sleigh. I'm gonna put me feet up and get pissed for Christmas Day."
I say the reindeer should unionize. Solidarity with the reindeer. Also, I'm very. So what's your druid gonna do?
Noodle, I'll send you something later, all right, when I find the link. Okay, but
what
you'll
what
love
you
it.
should do? Yeah, what you should do, Ring. Right? Okay. Can druids have the prestidigitation cantrip?
No. They
You
get
need
their
a way for them to have that, so Rudolph can actually have his fiery nose.
no, that would actually be light. Would do that.
Yeah. See, do you know what? Do you know what you could also do though? You could also go awakened reindeer Rudolph, maybe headband of intelligence or something.
Yeah.
Warlock.
Yeah. Now
I will just point out the only reason I said prestidigitation is because prestidigitation is Ring's favourite cantrip. If Ring can use prestidigitation, Ring will use prestidigitation in ways that you didn't realise prestidigitation was applicable to.
Oh no, Presto is broke.
Yeah.
And Ring broke it.
No.
Ring broke it.
To be fair, I don't go full prestidigitation nuke.
That's valid.
Only because you've never had the opportunity.
You keep that one in your back pocket.
No, because prestidigitation, like, I'm definitely in the camp of prestidigitation nuke does not work.
See, I like to have it because a lot of the homebrew that I do says that magic works minorly differently in different places. I like to have places that it works.
Yeah. But so either you can go 20th level druid, take a feat to get access to the light cantrip, or be an Aasimar so you have access to the light cantrip, or you go centaur, say the elves are artificers and they give you winged boots, and take any class that has access to the light cantrip. This one's easy. Bard. She is the master of vicious mockery.
Sorry, I'm just reading something Scummer sent me and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, let's have a look. As we're discussing Santa, how would you build Santa?
As a player character, or because in my opinion, Santa is so powerful. He's a warlock patron. He's an archfey.
What
Build
about
him
Billy?
as a villain.
See, I feel like that actually.
I think he needs to be like Billy Bob Thornton's Bad Santa. That's how I feel.
Yes, Bad Santa. Oh gosh, that movie. I saw that way too young.
Yeah.
I saw that the year it came out, and that was my parents told me not to talk about it at school. Let's put it that way.
I'll just say now. I'll say I guarantee probably Noodle and myself, possibly Chaos, might be the only people that are going to get what I'm about to say here. But there was a thing of the scene in Bad Santa when he's punching the kids, and someone had and superimposed the head of the Wildston Raider on it, going, "You want some? You want some?" Okay, good. Okay, Chaos knows who the Wildston Raider is.
But yeah, basically Santa's an archfey.
That tracks.
See, that actually I feel like lends to my Rudolph being a warlock thing, because you take the Levitate Eldritch Invocation, and you have the nose be a patron mark.
Yeah, so
I'm going to jump off because I've got an appointment with a pint of Guinness at some point. So,
Yep.
Yeah.
hopefully, I might see you on one or two other streams over the weekend. If not, catch you later.
Yep.
Okay, Scummer.
See you, Jeff.
Now, Monk, I'd just say Inquisitive Rogue because that's how you build that archetype.
Okay, but how do you create that character with his germ aversion?
You just so now let's see. You could either just play it out, have it as a fly on your sheet and just play it out, or you could take a couple of levels in cleric for our hold on. Just need to double check something. What classes get this spell? Okay.
Which spell are you looking for?
Purify food and drink. Ooh, hold on.
Oh, yeah, purify food and drink is I'm almost certain druids get it. And then
it's cleric, druid, paladin, artificer.
that tracks, yeah.
And I'm just checking something. Okay. So actually what you do is you most of it you're doing Inquisitive Rogue, but you are going to take a single level dip into Divine Soul Sorcerer to pick up both Purify Food and Drink and Prestidigitation. And he is going to be constantly casting Prestidigitation to clean things.
That could work. I suppose it saves him trying to find the one bottle of water that's his favourite brand in a country that doesn't carry it.
Yep. And then, for food, and then, casting Purify Food and Drink to, because that's the only way you can get both Prestidigitation and Purify Food and Drink in a single level.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yep.
Cool. Right, okay, so other characters we can run. What's
kinda
everyone been watching this year? Like, what characters can we run? What were the big media things?
Yep.
I want to know, Ring, how familiar were you with Redwall? In terms of...
I read like the first 8 to 10 books and and I'm kind of disappointed in myself that it took me that long to realize that Redwall only has 3 plots.
I know, right? See, what's your opinion on Badger Lords? What sort of build do you think they would kind of be?
It's been a while since I read Redwall. I read it in high school. But from what I remember, for most Badgers, I'd go some subclass of Barbarian.
That's quite fitting. I'm going to get really into the lore a minute and say that
Yes.
I would give them, most of them probably, one, maybe a bit of Barbarian or Fighter for good luck.
Yeah.
Paladin Artificer. Because they are the defenders of their volcano and the forgers of some of the most brilliant weapons the animal kingdom has seen.
Yeah. Ooh, Krampus.
Ooh.
I think in the same way that Santa is an archfey, Krampus is an archfiend.
Cool. So, right, we don't normally have things like that. We don't normally run out of things to say on these streams.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's plenty of characters I could throw out there, but I don't want to just throw out like a bajillion characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are plenty of characters we could do. I'm thinking about media that's come out recently that we can potentially look at. Do I need to go look at
I mean,
Media Musings back catalogue?
I've been like, I did have Housing the Robins ready, or I could build the turtles.
I'm not familiar with either of those media, particularly. Like, I vaguely remember the Turtles from being a kid and watching it on like Saturday morning TV, but that's about it. Ooh. Build or saw, entirely up to you, possibly both. The alien boy from Heinlein. I want to see how you'd build like that alien with the.
Are you talking Michael Smith from Stranger in a Strange Land? Okay.
Yeah, because like that's an like that is a possibly a lawful evil character, but like I'd be tempted to say to you, build him as a bad, so you get that bardic inspiration for creating the cult he did.
Now, yeah, you could like probably do a few levels of glamour bard to get the enthralling performance, where you can just charm people if they, if you talk to them for a minute. But I think most of it is probably going to be either Aberrant Mind Sorcerer or a Great Old One Warlock.
I was going to suggest Great Old One Warlock, but with cults and stuff, I'm always tempted to say Great Old One and then say that the followers collectively create the power for the leader to be a warlock or something.
Yeah.
That could work. Okay. Now sort the character. Because again, it's the argument of power versus knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Because generally accepted in the fandom, which is completely like we don't claim her. Ravenclaws want knowledge for knowledge's sake. Slytherins want knowledge to use it, right?
Yeah.
So if you're the kind of person who reads an encyclopedia for fun, you're a Ravenclaw. If you're the kind of person who picks up an encyclopedia so you can learn how to build a machine that's going to help you take over the world, Slytherin.
Yeah.
Or, whatever your ambition is. Your ambition doesn't have to be evil megalomania.
Yeah.
Like, Channel Punching Bag got that covered. But how do you sort this character? Because, like, all Heinlein's lecherous bigotry aside, because, of course, when you're talking about Heinlein, you've got to set that aside.
Yeah,
right?
I have a love-hate relationship with Heinlein.
Yeah, you have a very similar relationship with Heinlein as most of the Potter fandom has with the Channel Punching Bag.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. The difference is Heinlein's dead, so you can just enjoy the media now and not worry about him using the social or actual financial gain from discussing the franchise as clout against minority of the weak.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I like sorting Michael Smith is like really hard because like he doesn't really spend any of the novel like actually planning and planning. He's just kind of running on instinct, and things just kind of happen around him.
I mean, that screams Gryffindor.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Gryffindor. I think if he actively doesn't plan it and this stuff just happens around him, and it's as a result of his reckless disregard for social norms,
Yeah.
then yeah.
Yeah. And well, I wouldn't say reckless disregard. I'd say complete ignorance of social norms.
That still screams Gryffindor
Yeah.
to me.
And
Yeah.
and
It's-
like really he'd be like I'd say alignment wise he'd be chaotic neutral.
Okay.
it-
So, right. Here's the thing. Talk to me about the alignment of chaotic good. Because more than once this year, and I'm going to ask you this question while I'm here, someone has described me as chaotic good. And I don't know what that means, but I'm confused. Please help.
Do you want like a nuanced discourse explanation of what that means, or like a what people tend to mean when they're just using it as a reference?
I presume what people tend to mean, because every fucking you know those D&D quizzes that are like what race, class, and alignment are you and
Yes.
stuff. I always get like chaotic neutral and either wizard or sorcerer, and I'm just confused because every time I do a different quiz, I get a different answer and I like different meaning for what these terms are. And then what I want to do, let's do this. We've built fictional characters. Let's build each other.
Yep.
Because I
that
think
comes
that
back
could
fun,
be fun.
actually.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
It's not bullying. I just want to rest my elbows,
This
by the way,
is-
Donna.
This is something where there might be slight differences in how we'd answer this, but I'd say broadly, if someone's described as chaotic good, what it means is they have other people's best interests at heart, but they don't give a shit about rules.
Yeah, okay, that tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks. I'll claim that.
Or rather they do have a moral compass, but they like there are two different takes on what chaotic good is. There's what Chaos said, and then there's you do have a moral compass, but it's not the moral compass that is dictated by society.
Okay, so you're either Captain Kirk or like movie Captain Kirk.
Yep.
Or you're I can't think of a character to like put that.
A good
Because Captain Kirk is very much he has a code.
Yep.
But it's his code. It's
a
not.
good comparison might be insofar as both Superman and Batman are vigilantes, they have two different approaches that could both be described as chaotic good.
Or
Because one of them's very almost following the law, like they have a very set structure and they're going to follow that structure. And the other is, I just want to help people regardless.
yeah. Or like the typical go-to example of chaotic good is Robin Hood.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take that. I will absolutely take that.
Yeah,
I will take that by singing oodalally all the way to the bank.
I know, right? Jason just mentioned chaotic means no plan. That is also sometimes like a stereotype, is that chaotic good is like good stupid.
No,
Yeah.
but the plan is to help, and how I do that is still like
The Doctor's
I'll figure
definitely
it out.
chaotic good.
Yeah, chaotic good. Yeah, I can see the Doctor as a chaotic good. Like there is
Yeah.
no plan, or at least if there is a plan, no one else can follow it. But the goal is what's best for everyone, or for
Yeah.
as many people as possible.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you
I
tend
can go with
to-
that.
In my experience, while not always the case, a lot of people will use good versus evil as a proxy for selfishness versus interested in other people's well-being, and lawful to chaotic just means interest in following conventional rule sets of the place.
Cool. Okay. Let's build ring. I want to build ring. Okay.
Mm.
Alignment's good.
Yep.
Definitely alignment good. Probably more lawful than neutral.
Yeah, I definitely put myself at lawful good because I'm way too neurotic to be neutral or chaotic good.
See, I think
It's
that's very, very fitting, and then I would immediately go to the mastermind subclass of rogue at bare minimum. For, obvious analytical reasons.
Okay, but can I just point out, I listen to Ring play D&D twice a week. Do you know what I've learned from doing this?
Go on.
If and when the apocalypse comes, this person behind me, this person,
Yeah.
they're on my team because they scare me.
Oh yes,
It frightens me the things they can come up with if you give them a lighter and I don't know, an empty spray bottle.
Yes, no, generally D&D players, but especially Ring, it's very much a lot of ingenuity for, I've got 3 random bullshit items, what can I do?
And yet I'm the one who made a Rorschach flamethrower in the middle of Yellowstone National Park that one time. But Ring is definitely the one with the imagination to take that and take over the world with it. So yeah, we've got Mastermind Rogue. What do we think?
I'm thinking that
I'd say probably not, probably only a dip, because there is no way that I have a soul of deceit.
No, but there's definitely you've definitely got a lot of ranger going on as well.
I think if you dip into it to get the Master of Tactics ability, basically just it gives you a boost to allies and stuff, and tactical planning and shit.
Yeah, the help as a bonus action from far away is as long as they can hear you, you can tell them to fight better.
Doorknob Head has a question of, is One Ring the DM, so a non-playing character? If One Ring was the DM, okay, that would be a very scary world to live in. I would have concerns.
Oh yeah,
I married this person, but I would still have concerns.
I very much enjoyed playing when you were DMing, because it's always fun when you get someone who's very, very good at playing or very good at DMing, swapping roles. Because all of a sudden you're concentrating the energy differently, and it results in some funky shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I can also see some ranger stuff.
Mainly for the move over David Attenborough, seriously. So yeah, there's that. I don't there used to be a time where if I had a question about an animal, I googled it. I don't Google it anymore. I just ask Ring.
Yeah.
It's easier.
That definitely does lend very nicely to something like having some sort of Beastmaster Ranger or whatever, if you want to go
Beastmaster Ranger or possibly Druid.
No.
Because I do feel like the only reason Ring hasn't shapeshifted into an animal yet is because they physically can't.
Now, actually, if we were going Ranger, I'd probably say Gloomstalker for the subclass.
Oh, no, you do actually make a point with that.
Because
let me just double check their 3rd level ability a sec.
Yeah, maybe just 3 levels of Gloomstalker, because I am just that, stealthy.
Yeah, no. God, the number of times, folks. Living with Ring, it's a jump scare waiting to happen. The number of times I've been sat here fucking around on my phone or whatever, and I've looked up and Ring's just gone. Or the number of times Ring's been in another room, I've been on my phone, and then I get a touch on my shoulder, do you float? You don't have footsteps. You know? And also when you sleep, It's really hard to hear you breathing. You frightened me a few times. So
Yeah.
So definitely I'm thinking Ranger with that stealth and the Beastmaster and
Yeah. Because at a third level, at third level, if you go Gloomstalker, you get an ability that means you're invisible in the dark if someone is using dark vision.
Yeah,
They're
Gloomstalker, right, was
Yeah.
getting the Dread Ambusher feat at level
Yep.
3.
Yep.
cool. Okay, so we've got ring built. Ish.
Ish.
Chaos. How do we build chaos? Let's see.
I think the question is, which spellcaster type do you want to start with more than anything?
Yeah.
I think
This is what I'm thinking, either wizard or sorcerer, but
yeah. I
remind me
think
the difference.
I think Chaos is probably more of a wizard because she's very she's very bookish rather than I can just do this.
Yes, but have you met Chaos in person? Chaos is like 5'9" and wears punk boots, and the hairstyle always looks like a plant trying desperately not to be eaten, which is definitely a compliment. So yeah, like that's bookish, but also like really, really cool. And I feel like wizard's not quite cool enough for Chaos.
Now I'd actually like to give a race suggestion. I'd say Chaos is probably a Ladrin because they have big Fey energy.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, if it wasn't a Ladrin, I always get assigned Elf.
Yeah, folks. To those of you who have either never seen Chaos or don't know Chaos, if you saw Chaos in the street, if Chaos got like ashes to ashes and was dropped in the 80s, on a regular day of Chaos being dressed how Chaos dresses, they would fit right in at any punk event. Just, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say a Ladrin wizard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say wizard, or if you wanted to go a slightly different route, because while I am bookish, you could totally go knowledge cleric.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then you get the shape-shifting thing, and like the way you, again, I'm talking about your hair colour, but you change your hair colour with the wind, so,
No,
that's a spell that can be done.
Technically you could change your hair, like depending on how your DM rules it, technically you could change your hair color with prestidigitation.
Yeah, I always rule that you can do that, but that you've got to do either some sort of concentration or recasting.
Well, yeah, because the duration for like most prestidigitation things is only like an hour or so.
Yeah.
Unless you're, starting a fire. Then it's as long as the fire lasts.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Ring, you're definitely using prestidigitation right now for that hair colour. You just are. Because, yeah. So yeah, that's you two built. I'm putting off you building me because I'm just like, that's scary. But yeah. Ooh. Geosam's in the chat. Hi, Sam. I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah. I'm gonna say paladin.
Excuse me? How dare you? I feel like that reaction kind of proves your point.
Yeah,
Yeah, but what kind of paladin? Come on, talk me through it.
Oh, yeah. Just gotta.
I almost feel like you might be best going with the. I can never remember the name of it. Open Seas or whatever it is.
Oh, Oath of the Open Sea. Like that is if we're allowing Mercer Brew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't see the sea for any length of time, I start to develop a deep depression. So yeah, that tracks.
Also,
It's also the tenants.
Yeah, like tenant 1 is slavers get smote.
Carry on. I have no argument yet.
Let's see.
What is it? Sea paladin. Let's see if I can. Oath of the Open Sea.
Yep.
No greater life than a life lived free. Yeah. Trust the skies. Yeah, okay. Adapt like the water. Look, adapt like the water is just D&D's way of writing ADHD into the game. I'm sorry, it just is.
A little bit.
As is explore the... So basically what you've done, you've made me an ADHD paladin. Because I'm just reading these tenants now. Trust the skies, explore the uncharted, adapt like the... Well, that's just ADHD. And once again, the neurospicy people I know diagnose me faster than doctors. A no greater life than a life lived free. Yeah, I would argue with that, but A, I don't want to, and B, 15 years of activism says I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's also the subtext underneath no greater life than a life lived free feels... I don't know if you would agree with it, because one should be free to chart their own path without oppression. Those who would exert their power to dominate others shall be smote.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I am very left-wing. I'm not quite an anarchist, but I'm only not an anarchist because I believe that the state has a duty to take care of everyone. Like, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool socialist. And if there is going to be... Like, if the state has to exist, its sole purpose should be to look after people. And when it's not doing that, it should be dismantled.
But
Excuse me, there's a knock on the door. I think it's the CIA. But yeah, that works. And we've already established chaotic good for alignment. Okay, cool.
Yep.
See, what alignment would you guys put on me?
Well, though I will say if Mercer Brew is not allowed, I'd say Noodle would either be Vengeance or Watchers.
I think
now I'm concerned. What does that even mean?
So the Watchers Paladin, basically they do safeguarding against otherworldly threats, but their tenets are vigilance, loyalty, and discipline.
Yeah, I'm not disciplined. And I'm not all that vigilant. I don't have to be vigilant because I'm adaptable. Shit happens and I react. I don't have to wait for it to happen.
But discipline is more you stay ready rather than what most ways you think of discipline.
Okay, so what you're describing there is a symptom cluster for PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to have to zoom in on that. I can't see that. Okay.
Also, I appreciate that we both use Wikidot.
Okay. Vigilance. I mean, kind of, yes, but again, that just reads like a symptom cluster for PTSD or complex PTSD, which I'm not denying I have.
Yeah.
But I hope, as I'm getting older, that that's less central to my character than it was maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah. Wait until you see the Vengeance one, though.
Come on, let's have a look at the Vengeance one.
Okay.
The the kind of the brief overview ones of the Vengeance one are fight the greater evil, no mercy for the wicked, by any means necessary, and restitution.
I think I'm too squishy in real life to have that as my tenets, but that doesn't mean I don't idealize it. From what you just said. Fight the greater evil. Yeah, okay. Yeah, but at the same time, right, what are we talking about here? Because if the difference between the greater evil and the lesser evil is the colour of tie they're wearing, cough, Keir Starmer cough, we're going to have, like, can I take out both? Is that an option? Ordinary foes might win my mercy, but sworn enemies do not. But again, it depends on what a sworn enemy is, right?
Yeah, the thing with a lot of D&D stuff is you've got to play a definitions game to work out if it fits or not.
Yeah.
Because ordinary foes might win, but, like, never assume malice where incompetence will do, right?
Yeah.
But when you do see malice, no mercy. Absolutely no mercy. I don't think any means necessary. Like, I wouldn't, like, go full on, you know, road to hell is paved with good intentions, become a dictator to make the world a benevolent dictator to create a socialist utopia.
Yeah, that's why I didn't even consider conquest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and frankly, the Crown Paladin or whatever it is just wouldn't have fit because of the adherence to authority.
Yeah.
Like, in my heart, I'm thinking I want the sea. I want the sea because literally a major part of picking where we currently live.
Yeah.
Is because I said if I'm more than an hour from the ocean, I start to break out in hives.
Oh yeah, like if Mercer Brew is allowed, you're definitely open sea.
Yeah.
But some tables don't allow Mercer Brew.
Okay. So we've got Paladin. Thing with Paladins is, right, they're tanks.
Yep.
Right, and I'm very, very squishy.
Well, you know why Paladins are tanks, right?
Go on.
They wear armor.
Okay, but look, I'm so squishy. Look, folks, I twisted my ankle climbing off a sofa and walked around on it for 2 months. I'm very squishy. Okay. Like, what are you going to say? That my armor's all like the leather coats and stuff I own? Those are for a different reason.
No, or maybe like 3 levels of Paladin to get the oath, and then the rest Blade Singer.
What singer?
Blade Singer.
A Blade
Again,
Singer
I feel like
is
you
a
are
wizard.
presuming I have a lot more hand-eye coordination than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a Blade Singer is basically just a wizard who's very good at using a specific weapon in a style that looks like a dance.
Yeah.
Again, that requires coordination that I do not have.
No, I was mostly making the joke is because Blade Singers can be very tanky, but because they're a wizard, if they get hit, it's pretty much over.
But see, I'm the opposite. Like, I'm very easy to hit, but when I hit, it's not over. Like, it is but a scratch. Come on, you've seen. Like,
so Zealot Barbarian. It's like it's Barbarian, but with Paladin flavor.
Okay, but none of these.
Yeah.
Okay, so which class then takes university level classes for fun? Because that doesn't feel very Paladin. And I feel like that's a massive part of my character.
So we're going to say like 3 levels of Paladin for the oath, and then Lore Bard.
A what bard?
Lore. College of Lore.
I'd go there.
Okay, I don't know what either of those words mean. I have an impression of what a bard is, but
So a law
where
bard
did
is
that come from?
so law LORE
Okay.
is the law college is one that focuses on learning knowledge and information, magical secrets, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
have the charisma to be a bard all the way. A bard's still squishy. This might be the deciding factor. Because if a law bard can be squishy, that would make sense.
yeah. Well, I mean, bards have a D8. So, okay, so you're a lore bard who multi-classed into paladin because paladin, you don't get the armor proficiencies if you multi-class, and bards are stuck at like light or maybe medium armor proficiency. I forget which.
Yeah, but just also explain to me, while we're on the topic of bards, why do the squishy characters have the biggest mouths?
Because charisma is a separate stat from constitution and dexterity.
Okay, but why would you, if you had high charisma and were very, very squishy? Like, I feel like to have those two things, there needs to be a separate stat of just self-preservation, and the bards is -4.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Okay, right, I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing where you've got bard from now.
Yeah.
Cool, yeah, right, okay. Let's see, who else do we know who's in the chat that we can build? Mage Werewolf says chaotic neutral druid for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say probably Circle of the Land.
Yeah.
Though the question is what kind of like what subclass would chaos be for wizard?
What are my options?
A lot.
Yes, there are quite a few actually.
Let me Google.
Because you've got your initial standard 8 plus all the ones they've added over time.
I need a list of wizard subclasses with description. D&D RPG book. What's this? Is this a reliable D&D page? Christ on a bike, that's a lot of subclasses.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Like maybe scribes. Because, you know, those are the ones that do double down on the whole I'm studying magic thing.
Order of scribes. The most wizardy option there is, according to RPG bot. That tracks. School of divination, because some of the stuff Chaos says and does with divination is like, I'm polytheist, and I look at that and I'm just like,
No,
you got a pole on your shoulder, I'm backing away slowly.
Yep.
Hey, it's not my fault both Apollo and Odin took interest.
Yeah.
Yes, but you didn't discourage them, did you?
You make a point.
Definitely not invocation. What's up with the School of Illusion?
The School of Illusion's quite funky. It does a lot of like slightly improving illusions, and then their 14th level thing is just like you can make an illusion solid.
Yeah, you can Looney Tunes. But School of Illusion is like arguably the in terms of viability, arguably the weakest because it is really up on to the DM how well illusions work.
Yes, but like
Yeah.
Chaos doesn't need a lot of magic because Chaos is inherently powerful with all that fey energy going on. So yeah.
Ooh.
Also, like I do fully believe if we make Chaos a wizard, push comes to shove in a combat scenario, Chaos will just throw the spell book at someone's head. Like, I fully believe that.
So like I probably like divin. So okay, here's one. Here's a possible suggestion. Divination wizard with a healthy dip of Archfeylock.
That sounds about right.
I'll definitely take it. Those are like two of the classes that I like to draw from most as a DM.
There you go then.
And alignment wise,
Chaotic good, definitely
Yeah.
chaotic good. Like you, again, we are very similar politically, which I think being very left wing does lend itself to chaotic good. Because like Ring's lawful good, but, and I say this with all affection for everyone who's left wing, I feel like if you're left wing enough, you're willing to bend the rules if it's for a good reason.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whereas Ring would just find a weird way around
mean,
the rule that was still within the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law.
Yeah, I'm
speaking
too.
of... Go on, sorry.
Yeah, I said it before, and I'll say it again. I'm too neurotic to be anything but lawful.
Yeah.
I live with them, believe me.
I always feel like internally my perception of self is very much like, if you were to draw it out as a grid of boxes, I'd be in the true neutral box, but I'd be so close to the chaotic good corner, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I can see why a lot of people put me in chaotic good.
Or
I feel like you are just over that line. Like, you will bend the rules in ways you can get away with,
Yes.
and bend the rules in ways that you appreciate don't cause any harm, if it's for a good reason. You know, I feel like as a general rule, if you agree with the statement, if you saw someone stealing food from a corporate supermarket, no, you didn't, you're in the chaotic good kind of quadrant somewhere. And that's a very left-wing thing.
Oh, it very much is. Yeah, I definitely get why chaotic good is something that pretty much everyone seems to assign to me, because I am very much looking at the rules and going, but why would I do that though?
So basically what we're saying is, in order to be on the spectrum of good in D&D, you have to be neurospicy.
yes.
Like, you have to question shit.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yep.
Which makes sense, right? Because I had this conversation with Rick. D&D is for a very specific kind of neurospicy person. And therefore, of course, within the rules of D&D, if it's for neurospicy people, by neurospicy people, the definition of good is always going to be pick your flavour of neurospicy. So you've got lawful good, which is the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
Then you've got chaotic good, which is probably like the ADHD spectrum, like that kind of, that vague, fluffy area of being neurospicy. And then
Neutral's just like the space in between.
neutral goods. I'm gonna drop a hot take. Neutral good is the psychopathy spectrum. You can be on that spectrum and be a good person, but you don't necessarily do it because your emotions match up with what you want to do. You just
I think the best way I could describe maybe any other archetype of neutral good would just be to say follows the laws where strictly necessary.
Which is why I said the ASPD spectrum of it's necessary, so you do it, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's where your beliefs lie or that you have any skin in the game of following it. You do it because it's there. And it's generally the accepted thing to do. And I say that with all of, like, I have a lot of friends on the spectrum. They're all lovely, but I do appreciate they have a different set of emotions than I do. And they're good people. Sorry, I've just seen. Can we put Jason Jacoby's comment up? Lawful good.
Yeah.
Lawful good in the street, diabolical in the street, in the sheets. Yeah, right. I mean, if the sheets are D&D character sheets, definitely. That brings new tagline.
Yeah.
Rules are meant to be bent over and given the business, according to Dawn of Head. Yeah, rules are made to be broken.
Yeah.
But it's how you break them that decides where you sit on the alignment chart and why you break them, I think. We have Ember in chat.
Yep.
I feel like chaotic good and anarchic good is very similar, Ember. Because you've asked that question. Chaos is nice, but have you considered anarchic good? I can't say the word. I've never been able to say it.
Yeah, I think the thing is that I have made no secret of the fact that I think that anarchist and communist lines of thought are some of the most sensible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think because like one of the lines of thought on the law versus chaos spectrum is, the lawful side is societal order, and the chaos side is individual freedom and anarchy. So
Yeah.
chaotic good and anarchic good, is, like in a D&D context, is like can be seen as very much synonymous.
That tracks. Yeah.
Yeah, it can also be. There's this distinction that I will make in my games that is not like a canon distinction, so to speak, but it's like an alignment distinction I'll make between actions, thoughts, and intentions.
Yep.
Okay. Go on.
So someone can act lawful good and their internal thoughts be incredibly chaotic good.
I use the law for my own ends.
Yeah. And someone can have chaotic good emotional responses without having chaotic good logical reasoning thoughts.
I want to do the right thing by any means necessary, but I don't want to get arrested.
Yeah.
Now, here's a fun bit. In our pirate campaign, we have a lawful good druid who is currently also a Canary of Bahamut.
A canary of
Excellent.
Canary of Bahamut.
You do realise they're on this stream for the Christian holiday.
Yes. A chaotic evil sorcerer who is currently also a demon lord.
Okay, explain how chaotic evil works to me. Because if chaotic good is I would do the right thing based on a purely emotional response, and I don't necessarily care too much about the consequences under the law, so long as I get good, like an ending that I consider good. What's chaotic evil? And don't tell me Santi in the game we were playing, I'm aware, but also
So
how do you actually describe that?
the way I might explain it is that let's assign, for the sake of argument, a raider group that were attacking the Romans and the leader of the Romans both evil alignments, for the sake of argument.
Okay.
The Roman leader is going to be lawful evil, and the raider leader is likely to be chaotic evil, because he does not give a damn about the local law.
See, you put it in those terms, and my brain's trying to translate it into terms of the Russian Revolution, which is quite strange. I don't know why my brain went there. Reds versus whites.
Yeah. Or to take a typical example, Lex Luthor would be lawful evil, while the Joker is the usual go-to example for chaotic evil.
Okay, so evil has a code. It's not necessarily the law. It's not necessarily a good code, but it is a code that they will not break.
Yeah.
This is also...
But that's very chaotic good, because that's like, I have a code. It's not necessarily the law, but that's my code. And the only difference is the intended outcome.
Yeah, it's selfishness versus selflessness is your good versus evil distinction here, I think.
Yeah.
But there's also, while you can totally have lawful evil characters who are, like, they have their own code and they don't follow standard law, you could also have a lawful evil character who want to do evil things, but is going to work entirely within existing legal structures to do so. Like, for example, really right-wing politicians who want to write themselves incredibly lengthy laws that allow them to do evil things.
Oh, Suella Braverman and Dolores Umbridge, to give a real-life and fictional example in one breath.
Yeah, so that would be your lawful evil, whereas your chaotic evil might be the EDL member who decides to wreck a statue because fuck the rules, I hate all you guys. The EDL member might be a bad specific group pick there to have gone with, but...
Yeah. Okay, that tracks. See, this is what happens with streams when we start discussing D&D.
Yeah.
You just end up teaching me D&D all over again. And it's really because I have ADHD, so I don't remember the last time.
Now, the third member of the party, the one I'm playing, is a true neutral rogue artificer.
Ooh.
How can you be a true neutral rogue? Sorry, I'm just processing that.
Yeah.
You've got a rogue who is
like I describe them as true neutral, but in the corner of true neutral that's adjacent to chaotic good.
okay.
Because she has a code, but her code is very much fuck the system.
So she's an anarchist.
Yeah. Like she is very much just gender swapped Captain Nemo.
Yeah, okay, that tracks. Yeah, okay.
And to bring this back to GeoSam's comment, yes, alignment conflicts can wreak havoc within a party, but it depends on it really depends on the player group.
We do not talk about
so
our war
does.
crimes.
Yeah.
I've got a group actually wherein this is a second edition game when alignment was actually way more important.
Yeah.
But we had 3 chaotic good characters.
Yeah.
we had a neutral evil character who had been secretly corrupted by a lich, and we all thought was neutral good.
Yeah.
And then there was my character who I got given because I joined the group 15 years late.
Yeah.
Who was a lawful good paladin. Now, in 2nd edition, if you're a lawful good paladin and you break the law once, any law, you lose all of your ranks.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, 5th edition very much went, very much did away with alignment as a mechanical impact.
Yeah, so
With-
the way we made it work was that the very intelligent, chaotic, good cleric, whenever the others needed to go do like a heist or something, would take my character off to do like shopping or something.
Okay, but if you are a lawful alignment, any lawful alignment, surely whether you are good, neutral, or evil within lawful is entirely dependent on your approach to the set of laws you're following and
Yes,
what that
this is-
set of laws is.
I have some philosophical problems with the way the alignment system works. It's just kind of what I was given to work with.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like from a philosophical, if okay, Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, right?
Yeah.
That's one set of laws, but that's not the set of laws that human beings ascribe to.
Yeah.
So, if you're a robot like Sonny,
Yeah.
who has a modicum of humanity, like is self-aware, if you stick to the laws of humanity but not to the laws of robotics, are you still technically lawful? Like, it depends on what you could have a technically lawful good character, but the set of laws they ascribe to is incredibly oppressive.
Yeah.
But they're
Yeah.
lawful good within that paradigm.
And this is the question for DMs: is a lawful good person within that system a person who wants what is best for other people and tries to function within it, or the person who wants to further the system itself?
And I would also argue, if you are in a system of laws, again, we're getting philosophical, you are in a system of laws whereby the laws themselves are oppressive, surely it would give you a good alignment if you opposed them either quietly or actively.
Yeah. And this is why the alignment fight is very much the D&D version of the atheist rock fight.
Yeah, or like in ethics, it's like when utilitarians tell other people, well, yeah, but if you optimize, then you're just being a utilitarian, and everyone else tells the utilitarians, yeah, well, your position's self-defeating, and that's like the standard zinger you might throw out or whatever.
Or my example. So, like, say in Les Mis, I'd say Jean Valjean starts out as chaotic good and works his way to lawful good. Inspector Javert is lawful neutral. And then
Bordering on lawful evil, I would say.
And then I'd say Thénardier is lawful evil bordering on neutral evil.
Okay, right, because you said that, and like a thought that popped into my head, a warning for what I'm about to discuss.
Okay, hold on. I've got banner.
Just in case you've seen the film, it might bring up some bad thoughts. Oscar Schindler, in his context, he's using the law and the system to do an objective good. But the law and the system is inherently horrific. where does he fall on the lawful scale?
Yeah, and this is the question: is that I would probably place kind of that type of character broadly, personally. I would put them on like lawful good, but so close to the corner of true neutral it's unbelievable.
Yeah, probably like lawful good on the line of new, in the corner where it meets true neutral.
Also, just as an aside on Oscar Schindler, definitely have levels in bad, because if you've got the wit to look a man in the face when he compliments your suit and destroy his entire political belief system in one sentence, you definitely got levels in bad.
Eloquence.
Vicious mockery, I was going to say, but
No, College of Eloquence has at third level a feature where they can't get below a 10 on a die roll below a 15 on a die roll when it comes to like persuasion or deception.
I'm pretty sure it's actually 10 plus charisma bonus plus something. There's like a formula for it because you can get better with it. I know because one of my DM PCs at the moment.
How would you build that character? Okay, let's say for argument's sake and to keep this light, right, because it is a friendly stream. To keep this light, let's take the character in the film. How would you build that character? Because you were talking about paladins and this no life better lived than a life lived free. But there's definitely some bardic elements in there. And he's definitely... There's a lot going on with that character. How do you build someone like that? And again, I'm aware this is a historical figure, but this is why I said let's focus on the character in the film. Because...
And I'm going to bow out of this discussion because I haven't seen Schindler's list yet.
Okay, businessman, height of the Third Reich, basically uses every rule in the book and then some to get people working in his factories and then get them the hell out of Germany.
Oh, also, Ring, I was thinking of the modifier, obviously, for the roll. Gives you a minimum of whatever plus your modifier.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so, it's basically reliable talent, but only for persuasion and deception checks.
Okay, so there's a scene in the film, and this is not a spoiler, because it's a very famous scene. It's just one line. He's sat in a room having tea with a high-ranking Nazi official. And the man says to him, "I like your suit." And he's wearing a very sharp suit, tailored. And he responds with, "Thank you. I'd give you the name of the man who made it, but he's probably already dead." The implication being he's probably Jewish.
Yeah.
Or some other minority. That's what I mean by utterly destroys the system and the political thing in a sentence or less. And it's not the only time he does that in the film. There's a bit in the film where there's a mix-up and a kid who he's trying to save gets put on the wrong list or something. And his response to that is to yell at the person that he needs kids because small hands can fit inside the shells of ammunition to clean them.
Yeah.
Because he runs a munitions factory. He uses the munitions factory as a cover for basically getting people out.
Yeah.
But that munitions factory is also supplying the Nazi war machine. And there's a line in the movie where he says, if this factory ever produces a working piece of ammunition, I'll be very disappointed. He actively goes around at night and alters all the machines so they don't. So this is a very, within his own context, he's a very chaotic, good character because he's he bends the rules in certain ways and he clearly has his own code, but his code is absolutely not in line with anything else that would be a set of rules in his context.
Yep.
He's very much driven by
his one goal is, I don't like these people. I want to be a thorn in their side.
Yeah.
And then his next goal is, I want to save as many people as possible. And that's
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there's another lawful neutral distinction that I've heard before that I think is interesting, which is your opinion on promises. Like, if you vow to do something, if you must do it, you're going to be lawful. If you try to do it, and you do your best in neutral, and if you don't care, you're chaotic.
That sounds like that old Yorkshire idiom. Never do all for no, and if they must do all for no, do it for the same.
Yeah.
Which, in plain English, because I fully appreciate not everyone speaks Yorkshire, never do anything for nothing. And if you must do it for nothing, make sure it's being done for yourself. Which, very famous Yorkshire saying. Which sounds really weird when I'm toning my accent down, but oh well. But this obviously this man, there's an English version of him who, and there were multiple people in that area. But how would you, like, that archetype of a person who exists within a horrific paradigm, a horrific rule set, but goes out of their way to do good, but is very careful not to get caught. And is very careful to appear to all intents and purposes and to all outsiders that they're not doing it. Because that's who screams rogue, right?
I would say this might be a little bit controversial actually, but
Yeah.
a combination of mastermind rogue and one of two things depending on how you want to play it. Some sort of maybe something like Open Seas Paladin or something like an Oathbreaker Paladin, where it was like previously held to the rules, now does not.
Like
that tracks better, I think.
like you were an Oath of the Crown Paladin, but then you turned Oathbreaker.
Yes, and people might not even know you've turned Oathbreaker yet, but you have done.
Yeah.
See, this to me is giving Jaime Lannister vibes, like you had an oath to an idea or, a system, and then you realise the system was broken, so you stabbed it in the back. In the case of Jaime Lannister, literally.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I do like Ember's reading of this. It's a very lawful character. He's working around a law without overtly breaking it, but in service to a higher law.
Yeah.
But from what you were saying, that sounds more like potentially a chaotic character. Because again, it's this higher law, this personal higher law that's not necessarily shared by anyone else but the individual. If I'm understanding chaotic right.
I mean, no one understands the alignment system. Everyone has their own take on it. That's why it's a perpetual debate.
It's also
we're having fun having the debate, so let's have it.
Yeah.
Ember Inglorious, absolutely, I can see those as like I can absolutely make an argument that it's weirdly chaotic good to like scout Nazis.
Yeah.
It's definitely chaotic in that region.
Also, the head of the bastards is definitely Oath of Vengeance.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've not seen the whole thing through, but from the clips I've seen, yep.
Oh no, I've seen it. It's exactly as ridiculous as you expect it to be.
Delightful.
It is absolutely, however long the runtime is, minutes of pure, unadulterated, escapist fantasy of what we all wish we could, would, and had the skills to do when faced with a fascist system. Like, you're not going to have a massive political impact by doing this, but you're absolutely going to have fun bringing down who you are, and you are going to make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Um.
Also, in other depictions of Nazi revenge, or doing terrible things to Nazis, I will remind you that it is canon that Magneto locked the Red Skull in a basement with nothing but water.
I forget about that. That happened, didn't it?
Yeah. But see, this is the thing. It is definitely a lawful good action to punch, kill, or otherwise make Nazis indisposed.
Yeah. It's actually, I
So-
think when discussing alignment, something that I think is sometimes maybe a useful thing for trying to get to the root of at least what was the intention behind it is to look at where it came from, because in the first edition of D&D it wasn't a 2-axis thing, it was a 1-axis thing. It was the lawful to chaotic alignment, and if you were aligned with the lawful planes, you were with the heavens, and if you were aligned with the chaotic planes, you were aligned with the hells.
And are those terms you're using, the heavens and the hells, broadly along the Christian paradigm?
That was Gygax's initial cultural inspiration for the concepts.
Yeah.
See, that to me sounds like lawful and chaotic then become measures of obedience, not necessarily measures of goodness.
It was kind of, but it's specifically your alignment in a fundamental war that is happening between the planes. Like if during the Red Scare you called someone a communist, you weren't just saying they had a set of political ideals, you were assigning them an affiliation.
Though
Okay.
I do like okay, so that brings me to my position on the other perpetual discourse, at least when it comes to 5e, racial alignments.
Oh yes.
Okay.
And here's my take on it. Mortal races shouldn't have racial alignments because that's bad storytelling and it's boring. But when you come to like extraplanar beings, things like devils, demons, angels, etc., I do like having, they're all this alignment because they are tied to that plane and they are embodiments of that concept.
That just sounds like a world of many hats.
While I agree with you, Ring, I actually have a headcanon that I think also helps fix that problem.
But yeah.
That actually, the alignment chart being presented to us in the player's handbook is actually alignment as understood by a typical human in a typical human village with maybe a dwarven family or an elven family.
Just to acknowledge a comment that's been passed in the comments. Doorknob saying, is pure unadulterated escapism just another word for propaganda? Absolutely Inglorious was pure propaganda, but it was anti-Nazi propaganda, so we agree with it. As with all things, we agree with what we agree with. And we are a lot more willing to allow things that we might disagree with if our opposition did it when our side are doing it. I'm anti-censorship, but my lines are drawn along a very left-wing point of view.
Yeah.
And I don't claim that I'm purely anti. I try to be, but that doesn't mean I don't have lines. And my lines are drawn along my political ideals, as with anything. If you're on the side of doing it, you're far more likely to forgive it than you are if the enemy's doing it. And there are a lot of very recent situations in which that statement is applicable to, and I will allow the comments section and the individuals in it to consider that for themselves because I'm not going there.
Yeah. And also, pure adulterated, insert purity culture wife swapping joke here.
But yeah, again, propaganda is propaganda, but look, there's a reason every time America goes to war, it starts making superhero movies.
Yep.
It just does.
Yeah.
Just as a broad example.
But like, well, for or like when I now like not example exception to my general, mortals don't really have a racial alignment, extraplanar beings do, is mind flayers. Like, I don't really see them as being like pure, as all evil alignment, but it's more their moral system is so alien and contrary to what most mortal races would have as their moral system, is that it is it's a case of red and blue morality.
But again, the conclusion we've come to with all of this, with the sorting we did earlier, with the D&D builds, with the alignment discussion, is it's all very context dependent.
Yeah.
What's good in one situation is pure evil in another. Which is a weirdly deep philosophical debate to have gotten into on a holiday stream.
Yeah.
But when you're a divergent, we don't do small talk.
Yeah, like when it comes to mind flayers specifically, for those of you who have read Christopher Paolini's The Inheritance Cycle, I like to compare how I see mind flayers as to the depiction of the Razak. Basically, they are the mortal race's inherent predator, so we view them as something to be feared and hated. And they just see us as food.
I mean, I have concerns about that paradigm. As viewing anything that's different as to be feared and hated is always a concern. But if they just see you as food, that's kind of valid.
Yeah, not only as food, but as brooding hosts. Like, mind flayers are to humans, dwarves, and elves are what the parasitic wasps are to like spiders and caterpillars.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Cool. So we've gone on for nigh on 2 hours, so we're handing off next. So we leave you with the thought of what is good in your context. Do it.
Yep.
I think.
I dropped the link to the next leg of the stream in the chat, and I'm keeping going until I see that they're live.
Yep, so they will be live in about 5 minutes, so open a new tab and be ready to go over there.
That will probably be the point at which I dip out and get food.
Yep.
Yeah, and that'll be the point where we dip out and start getting ready for tomorrow.
Yeah.
God, tomorrow's going to be interesting.
Interesting statement in the comments.
I don't think Trump is intelligent enough to be an illithid.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, what's the intelligence level of these speakers?
No, maybe you'd be better having something like an Aboleth in the background with Trump as like a...
Yeah, and Jason Jacoby. Mind flayers are intelligent.
Yeah. The reason I bring up Aboleths is they have like a mind enslavement ability. And they are also... Them taking control of your mind does not make you intelligent. It just means that you behave in ways towards a broader goal, even if you don't understand why.
So...
Okay, but do you have to roll an intelligence check to see whether they take over or not? Because I feel like that's an important part. Like, if we were building a creature that is that, it would have to be the kind of creature that can only really take over the minds of characters that have like less than 10 intelligence on a good day.
Aboleth do require a save, but I don't know what the save is off the
I
top of my
think
head.
it's a wisdom save because most anti-mind control saves are wisdom saves.
Remind me the difference between wisdom and intelligence.
Well, when it comes to wisdom save, it's like force of will because most intelligence saves are for things like seeing through illusions and.
This is why
Yeah.
I think you'd need something that you'd have to roll an intelligence save against, because seeing through illusions is a big one, right? If you can't do that, that's like 90% of that what's going on there right now.
Yeah,
you get-
wisdom saves is resisting assaults on your mind. Charisma saves are resisting assaults on your very nature of being.
I mean, a charisma save could possibly. I mean, if anyone, again, not to get too dark because it's the holidays, but if anyone's seen the changes that can take effect in a person when they are exposed to that level of propaganda and rhetoric over the course of a few years, that could potentially be a charisma save that you'd need for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Aboleth is a DC 14 wisdom save, but there are totally other things that do charisma saves that have something similar-ish.
Yeah, like for example, resisting mind control. So, like an Obelisk dominate person or charm person is a wisdom save. But a charisma save is resisting banishment, which
new house rule. You are not allowed to say the words dominate person in the context of discussing MAGA. I did not need that mental image. I did not need that mental image. Nope.
Yeah, we got to be careful with that whole kind of line of spells then at that point, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's probably more on the case. Oh wow! Oh shit! Wow, my brain did a thing now.
But the thing is, right? Jason's got a point here, because MAGA could be a cult run by a mind flayer. No one said the mind flayer was Trump.
Yeah, I mean, you could quite
brains behind
plausibly. I mean, hey, maybe Trump's lawyer is pulling a big brain.
I mean,
Or whatever.
he declared bankruptcy yesterday, so maybe not.
The lawyer was a bad
One
pick
of
because I
them
didn't know that particular one, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the melty one. Declared bankruptcy yesterday, I think.
Yep.
Or tried to. I don't know how that's going. I haven't watched the legal episode on it yet, so I don't know how that's going.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh god, now I've just got a mental image of her in like a badly fitting like Bruce Lee cosplay, like the white jumpsuit, the yellow jumpsuit with the black. Oh, I did not need that in my life. Thank you. It's a good job I've got a therapist now.
Yep. But basically, once I see that Stephanie Helms has gone online, we're going to close off. So.
Yeah,
but here's the link to their playlist.
Yep, so start heading on over there, get a tab open or whatever you want to do for when Stephanie goes live.
Yep.
And I think, let's see. I do love the can I just point out, I do actually take a moment to really look at the thumbnail for Stephanie's stream. It's brilliant. I am native, yes, I'm in America and I will be here indefinitely at this point.
Yep. If not for me, then for the pretty leaves in the sun.
Yeah, the pretty leaves. I did 25 minutes on the pretty leaves in the sun. Also on the gas prices, but that's a totally different conversation. And it looks like Stephanie is going live, so click on over there now.
Yeah, so Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone who joined us. And yeah.
Yeah, as always, take care, be good. And if you can't be good, remember, use your noodle.
And remember, indoctrination is a hell of a drug.